it's frustrating to constantly have to deal with like a really ugly person, right? Like normally if there's a gross person in or around your life, you can separate yourself from them and then work through whatever, if there were lingering trauma or whatever, you can work through that and move forward. But when you constantly have to be around someone who's just awful and is actively trying to make you unhappy, and that's affecting someone, affecting other people as well, and yeah, man, it's just so fucking frustrating to deal with that. So then the challenge becomes, well, how do I relate to the things that they're doing, and how do I process that, and then how do I not let that completely overtake me and fuck up whatever else I'm doing? It's super challenging. In my case, it's, I don't know how much I can actually say just because it's ongoing, but it's someone that I have to be around and deal with constantly, and I will for a long time. And they really go out of their way to try to upset me, and it can't get over the past or what. Some people are gross. Some people are just gross. It sucks. It's totally fine to make mistakes and to do or say things, then later apologize for them, and as long as you move forward. But some people just can't move forward. It's weird. It's really weird and sad. But oh well, it is what it is. Welcome to the podcast. My name is Graham. I have another podcast with my brother and one of my best friends, Brian Williams. But our schedules never seem to line up, so I thought I'd start this one as well. That podcast is called The Bombcast, and we usually just talk about whatever we feel like. A lot of times we'll talk about kind of geek culture stuff, as we're both pretty geeky, and I'm sure I'll get to that eventually as well here. But while our schedules aren't lining up, I wanted to keep some kind of podcast going. So here we go. It's PORB, PORB. And I just decided to use that name because, well, it's a common mistake as you're typing in porn to hit the B on the keyboard. So there you go, PORB. Anyway, the E3 conference is going on. That's I didn't expect anything exciting to come from there, and I wasn't really following it. And then things were popping up on my Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, 7 years in waiting, Elder Scrolls 6 is announced, and all it shows is just kind of like a panning shot moving up over a ridge. I just clicked play on the Elder Scrolls 6, and they're going through the fog and the mountains, and the Bethesda logo comes up, and you're like, oh, great, another stupid Fallout game. And then all of a sudden you realize the music is from Skyrim or from Elder Scrolls. And you're fucking looking at gorgeous, scenic, I don't know where they are, whatever, but it's exciting. So I'd imagine that'll release next year, I hope. I just recently got back into Skyrim. I have I don't know how many hours I put in when I originally had it on the 360, but I mean, it had to have been at least 100 hours there. And then when I got it for PC, I think right now I have 250 hours. Jesus Christ. So over 300 hours on this game, and my PC version is so crazily modded. It's gorgeous, and there's all this new content. It's an amazing game, so I still play it. I've been playing it. I just started back up again like a month ago. It's amazing. So how cool is it that finally another game in that universe? I'm super pumped. And there were a few other cool things. Rage 2 looked really good too. I'm not big on just like run around and first person shooters, but it looked fun. It looked exciting. And then a couple of other things that were really amazing. was this Ghost of Tsushima samurai game. Wow, fucking crazy. Like I sold my PS4 to one of my friends a few years back after I built my PC, and there wasn't really much out for it at the time. But now there's a ton of really good reasons to buy it, to get it again, rather, and including that samurai game, but also I still haven't played The Last Guardian from the Eco team, and Shadow of the Colossus and Eco are two of my favorite games of all time. So I still need to play The Last Guardian, but then this damn Kojima trailer for Death Stranding, good lord, that looks amazing. I'm a big fan of games with heavy isolation and mood and atmosphere, and that looks like it's just rife with it. And there's, all of a sudden it becomes kind of a horror type game. I'm really into it. I'm super pumped. So that should be good. I'd play those trailers for the Samurai one and the Death Stranding, but they're both like 9 minutes. I don't really feel like doing that. But anyway, there's a bunch of cool games coming out, so that's exciting. Yeah, good stuff. I don't know what else is out or coming out for games. I mean, I play exclusively on PC, and then I still have a Wii U that I basically just use for Breath of the Wild, and I'm about 100% complete with there. I just have some more seeds to get. There's really not a lot else that I want to play, I don't think. Yeah. I don't know. I don't care about Battlefield or anything like that. Something random I came across on the internet were those deep fakes. You guys know about that? Where like, I originally saw it in porn, where they had put a girl's face on an actor's face on this girl's body, and it was pretty creepy how well it played out. But now that I'm seeing, I guess that technology is illegal. I might be making that up. I guess I could look it up. I'm not going to. But yeah, you look at these fakes where computer generated AI, I guess, where they're taking real interviews but changing the mouths and then adding the voice. I'm too dumb to like actually explain it correctly. But it's essentially you take a real video, and then through nerd magic, you can make people look like they're saying completely other things. So, as hard as it is to discern between what's real and what's manufactured at this point in our lives, it's now even harder. It's crazy. You can just type in deep fake and look at these fucking videos of Obama and, Nicolas Cage or whomever. It's completely fake. They're fake, but it looks totally real. What they're saying, and you could essentially take a speech from someone else and then run it through this AI program, and in their voice, it'll do voice matching, and then it'll match the visual to the audio as well. It's fucked up, man. What the fuck? I mean, how do you can't stop it, right? Like, there's no way. So it just has to be. Fuck. I mean. So much is fake now. Like there's so much propaganda and sway and spin and just blatant lies. I mean, at this point, it's bad enough. But then you add in, like, you can literally just make a fake video and put that. I mean, how are we gonna move forward? How do you know if anything's real anymore? And I don't mean in the existential way of like what is reality, but I mean in our reality that we all operate in, it can now be manipulated intentionally in our reality to make a alternate reality. It's fucked up. Humans are fucked up. What the hell? What are we doing? Can't we all just like eat nachos and blow each other? Like, isn't that better? Fuck, man, I don't know. Whew. It's creepy. You should look it up. It wouldn't be very exciting podcasting for me to play it, but you should look it up. It's pretty crazy. How about that new Kanye West album. Isn't that incredibly mediocre? Oh boy. I had a big fan geek out moment. I'm a big lover of Ski Beats, a producer, produced for, Jay-Z's on the Reasonable Doubt record, on a bunch of other stuff. But where I initially got really into him was when he was working really heavily with Currency. Big Currency fan. And he just, for a while, it was Currency and Ski Beats on everything together. And anyway, I follow him on Instagram. And he had posted, I think, the cover for that new Kanye album, and he asked, just like the caption was like, what do you guys think? And what did I write? I wrote something like, what did I say? I'm gonna look it up real quick. What did I write? I can't find anything on this stupid thing. Oh yeah, he asked, what did you write? And I wrote that the record's in line with his trajectory for the last few years, referring to Kanye, I mean, in line with his trajectory for the last few years, thinking everything he's doing is amazing instead of trying to make amazing things. A few nice moments, but overall, I'm not into it. That's the first Kanye record I've ever said that about. And then Ski Beats liked my comment. It was a really geeky nerd thing to be excited about, but I was excited about it. But yeah, that's how I feel about it. It's like, after literally I've loved everything he's done up until this point, and it just felt lazy, and like I said, he used to be a musician or artist who was really trying to make great music. And now it's very clear, both in the things that he says and in the music that he's putting out, that he just assumes everything he's doing is amazing. If you give yourself the title of genius or the greatest, there's a problem with that. You never give yourself a title. Like, you don't give yourself a nickname. You don't give yourself a title. You don't give yourself accolades. But it happens when people kind of drink their own Kool-Aid for too long. He's been Kanye West for too long, meaning this crazy successful, amazingly adored and loved and fawned after public figure, not just a musician. And I don't know what else you'd couple into that, medication or not medication, or if he has whatever illness, this or that. But just on a musical, the album is just kind of lame. The last track on the record is him speaking on like how he would want to fuck all these women, and then now that he has a daughter, and then realizing that she's going to go through that, and him kind of regretting or just working through that he used to be that, and now he has to deal with that on the other side. Is great, more reminiscent of the Kanye West that you'd love and you want to listen to. And then other than that, there's just like a couple like tiny moments, like, a few seconds here and there on this or that track that feels nice. But overall, it's just not good. It's boring, and it doesn't do anything. He's not saying anything, with the exception of that last song. But I did listen to also the new Kid Cudi, and that's basically the Kanye West album that I would have rather heard. I mean, he's on nearly every song, and that feels more like a good Kanye record, so I'll listen to that, I guess. And then in that same line, I heard Pusha T's album, and it was okay. It was fine. I like Pusha T, but he's just not a very exciting rapper to listen to. His content is usually pretty the same. He's getting a lot better. He's maturing a lot, but just overall, I don't know. I just get bored with his vibe. It's just, yeah. It's good, but it's just, it's not exciting. I wouldn't listen to it again. It's not bad, though. Yeah, I don't know. I listen to a lot of stuff all over the place. So for hip hop, I've just been stuck on Toby Wingway. Toby Wingway. I apologize for butchering that, but he's fucking amazing. Toby, and then the way you spell his last name is like NWG. Whatever, you can look it up. He's great. He put out a record, and then he also does like every Sunday he'll put out like a single, which is more freestyle. I don't mean that in like a not written off the top. I mean free of style. It's not verse, chorus, verse, chorus. It's usually just a long verse, with 32 or 64 bars, and it's great. And then he packaged those and released that as a record as well. But it's phenomenal. So good. Really saying something. Great take on things. Obviously heavily Andre 3000 influence, which is cool. He's from Houston. No. Yeah. Outside of Houston? Whatever. He's from Texas. He's great. I highly recommend that. And then other than that, what else am I listening to? I still listen to that JID record. So good. Fuck, it's good. JID off of J. Cole's label. Oh, that new J. Cole is okay. A buddy of mine hit me up after it came out, and he was like, dude, you got to talk me down off the ledge. I think this is the worst shit I've ever heard. And fuck, is he all over? And I was like, there are some definite misses on there, but overall it's good. It's just the production is a little boring, and he does use that common like triplet flow too much. But there's definitely some good stuff on there. And then what? Other than that, I don't know. I still am just constantly listening to that last Chelsea Wolfe record. Not rap. It's I don't know, hard, dark, heavy music. It's so fucking good. I listen to it all the time. Such a great, amazing record. And that last Oathbreaker record, more black metal, but yeah, just fantastic. So good. I used to listen to this all the time when I worked out, but I've been listening to it a lot again lately. And it's Power Glove. There's a series of video games called Far Cry, and a few years back, this game Far Cry 3 came out, and then, which is like you're in the jungle and you're looking for your friends who you got stranded with, and you get in touch with these bad guys, and there's also this tribal element. Anyway, an offshoot of that game was Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, which was this really synth wave 80s throwback, extra cheesy, Michael Biehn voiced it, and it's amazing. There's giant, everything's neon, and it's one of my favorite games of all time. Well, anyway, the person I don't know, is it one person, a couple of people, whatever. The soundtrack was done by Power Glove, and I've been listening to that soundtrack ever since. I love it so much, and it's one of my favorite things to work out to, and I recently started working out to that again. It's been awesome. You guys work out? I work out. I'm a personal trainer, and I teach boxing and martial arts. I've been doing that for 18 years. That's what I do professionally. I'm a musician as well, and I'm getting into writing, but yeah, you should work out if you don't work out. Even if you're not trying to be like ripped or whatever, there used to be this thing about just general health and fitness. You generally don't eat garbage all day, every day, and have a basic workout routine that you do. It doesn't even have to be crazy. 25 push-ups, 25 squats, 50 crunches, 50 jumping jacks every day. Just do it when you wake up every day. And it's only going to take, depending on where you're starting, what your level of fitness that you're starting at, anywhere from, 5 to 20 minutes. It's nothing. And that's enough to really keep you, at least in moderate condition to do something. If you can't do a pull-up, you just start against the wall. And I'm going to do some videos on that. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. I got a little bit of time in the morning before I have my first session. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. My YouTube channel is Graham Baker, GrahmBaker. That's my website too, grahambaker.com. And my Instagram is Instagram Baker. Puns. But yeah, you just got to work out, man. Just fucking work out. It's ridiculous to just sit and never do anything. Ugh, gross. It's important. It's important for your mood. It's important for your body. It's important for your mind, your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health. You just got to move. Even just that little bit, you're still releasing dopamine and serotonin, which are the chemicals in our brain that make us feel happy. So even there, it's important. Just what the fuck are you going to do if something happens? You can't do a push-up. You can't do 50 jumping jacks without dry heaving. Come on, what use are you? I guess things are too easy, right? Like, we don't have to hunt for food. We don't have to go get water. We don't have to go get electricity. Like, everything is just right here, constantly, instant. So people don't feel the need to push themselves, which is like what we're genetically evolved to do, is to push ourselves, which is a big cause of depression when you don't do that. But even just physically, we don't really have a lot of need for it. So other than like wanting to look good naked, which is also important, but just like a general level of fitness, like, what are you going to do if you need to push something off of you or pull yourself up onto something or do that for somebody else? It's like knowing how to throw a punch. So many people have zero interest or even the thought of like, oh, maybe I should learn how to throw a punch, like a real punch. Because, there are people out there that may want to hurt you, and you should kind of at least know how to punch them, right? Basic self-defense, basic self-defense, basic fitness, basic health. We have all these other things, like a basic reading level, basic understanding of electronics, which is a newer thing for our culture, but we don't have this basic health anymore. You just have this bullshit physical education in school, but there's no education. It's just run around the track, or here's a ball, go bounce it. There's no education, really. It's upsetting. I'm going to change all that. You hear me? I'm going to change it all. Big news the other day. On Friday, woke up to just awful news that Anthony Bourdain died. That hit me really hard. What a amazing man he was. Just fearless and prolific and just fuck. It hurt a lot. It's really upsetting that someone so wonderful is gone. I mean, anytime that happens, it sucks, but the way it happened is rough. He has a young daughter, girlfriend, all these things, and friends and family. It just sucks. People hurt, and sometimes hurt so much that they take their own life, and it's awful. And I hate people who are like, well, fuck him, he's so selfish. I hate that shit. What a horrible place to be in, to kill yourself. And you should empathize with that in some way, that someone was in so much pain secretly. The only way that they could satisfy that pain was to just end themselves completely. It's awful. There's so many things that lead to that. And I've struggled with depression my entire life. I've never been suicidal, but I've had depression my entire life. So I just reach out to the people, man. Reach out to people. I had this really amazing moment after he passed. A friend of mine, I actually met her. She was going to one of these groups that I run, a boot camp, essentially. Really lovely person. Anyway, she messaged me later in that day, and she just said hello. She's like, "Hey, how are you?" And I said, "I'm great. It's nice to hear from you." And she said, I wanted to reach out and let you know that I'm here. You've mentioned before, I speak pretty openly about my depression, that I have it, and I've always had it, and I'm a self-employed single father. There's a lot of obstacles just in that alone. And you add depression on top of it, and then like you're dealing with just a fucking ton of past trauma and even current trauma. It's difficult. Well, anyway, and I speak openly about it because it shouldn't be a secret. You shouldn't keep those things bottled up. we should be able to speak openly about them. And then also when I speak about it and people see that I'm pushing through or making choices in my best interest, even despite those things, it helps them too. So anyway, she messaged me and she was like, hey, I just, you've mentioned your depression before, and I just wanted to check in and let you know that I'm here. Oh man, I'm getting choked up just thinking about it. She wanted to let me know that she was here, and she said that, if whenever I need to talk, she's there, and that sentiment is really beautiful. She just wanted me, and she's like, I just want you to know you're not alone. Really amazing thing. What happens with depression is, even if you feel like you need to talk or want to talk, you won't. So when people go, I'm here for you, usually it's a pretty useless statement. It's like when people are like, I'm praying for you. You're not doing shit. But when somebody adds something more meaningful, like, you're not alone, and I'm here, more than just, if you ever need to talk, let me know. That's very dismissive, So, and she was the only person that did that. It meant a lot. That feeling of loneliness and isolation is intense and crushing, really, really crushing. Something I've had forever. So it is nice, even if sometimes I don't want to believe it, when somebody out of nowhere who has no real connection to me thinks of me and lets me know. You should always do that for people. If you're thinking of someone, and people say it all the time, and we don't do it, but if you're thinking of them, even if it's just a fleeting thought, just hit them up and let them know, hey, I'm thinking of you. You matter. It's important. It really is. It really is. Well, that was fun. What else is going on? I don't know. I don't really know what I wanted to do with this podcast, aside from hearing my own voice, which I love. I don't really have any direction for that. So I'm just going to talk. And yeah. I'm trying to get back on a good schedule. One thing that's really difficult, speaking of depression, is like, the way I describe it sometimes is like, if your life was going on inside of a house, and the house was kind of put together, and then one morning you wake up, or you come home to the house, or you just blink and you're outside of the house, and inside the house where your life is, you're looking in, and there's another person that looks just like you inside the house, and they're just knocking shit over, pissing on the rug, even though it really ties the room together. They're taking all the pictures on the wall and just turning them ever so slightly so that they're not level anymore. And you're outside going like, hey, stop breaking our shit. What are you doing? Come on. This isn't good. We're going to have to fix these things. And some of these things are broken and we won't be able to fix them. And the person inside is just ignoring you, or they're looking at you and they're like, yeah, I know, right? Crazy. And then they fucking throw a brick at your TV. That's what it's like sometimes. You're watching it happen, and this isn't the right way. This isn't helping. But you just keep doing it. And then a lot of times because you know that, then there's all this judgment, just a massive amount of judgment, of the fact that you're doing these things. And then there's judgment for the judgment. And it's this fucking vicious spiral. My therapist is always talking to me about that. And she's really helped me over the last few years, to be able to get to a point where, because I'm extremely harsh with myself, very, very critical. And I didn't even know that. I never knew that. I didn't think that. When I first started with her a few years ago, she asked me that. She's like, are you, just while we were talking one day, she was like, do you find yourself to be very critical of yourself? And I was like, no. And then as I'll tell her things about how I'm feeling or thinking or what I'm thinking, she's like, okay, well, And that is extremely critical. And then all of a sudden it kind of emerged that, oh fuck, I am massively harsh with myself, and I'm not loving with myself at all. So over the last few years that I started seeing her, she's helped me so much work, or by doing so much work, and it's really uncomfortable stuff, to get to a place where as I'm doing something, I can stop and go, hey, what's going on? What do I need right now? And then also, if I'm doing something that's not helping, instead of being like, fuck you, you piece of shit, this is horrible, you're horrible, I can go, well, this is interesting. Why am I doing this? But just from a place of love and patience and gentleness, and ask myself, well, what do I really need right now? What's showing up for me? What is this? Why this instead of that? But not judgmental. Not, why are you doing that, you piece of shit? But like, hey, what's going on? What do we actually need? And then also to try to make a decision, like, okay, I know this isn't going to help me. Like, I still use food as a coping mechanism a lot. And because of, what I do for a living and just how I want to be and like to be, there's a lot of judgment about my appearance, both externally and internally. But I still use food as a coping mechanism. But every once in a while, I'll hit a spot where I'm about to do it. I'm dealing with a lot of stress. It happens when you're a self-employed single father, and there's custody issues and work issues and, a bunch of other issues. It happens. But to get to a place where I go, okay, I've been really good and I'm really overwhelmed with stress right now, and I have no support system really. And I there's no comfort. I have no comfort. My son's not here. I don't put that on him, but I mean, like, he's not here, and this is this person I love more than anything in the world. So I'm all alone. I have no girlfriend. Not much of a family to speak of. So there's just nothing around. So then it's like, okay, well, I stopped doing drugs a long time ago, and I have no desire to go back. I was a drug addict for my 12 to fucking early 20s. I have no desire or even urge to be that again. It doesn't exist for me anymore. But food, that is still there. And so when you have no other kind of comfort, sometimes you just have to do it. So to be able to get to a place where you can go, okay, look, I need this comfort. So, I'm going to go and I'm going to get this burger and fries, and I'm just going to eat it, and I'm not going to feel bad about it. It's fine. I'm doing it intentionally. This isn't blacking out and then waking up with a fucking empty pizza box and ice cream, where you just kind of come to and you're like, oh no, what did I do? Then there's usually a lot of judgment. And even then I'm trying not, that still happens, but even then I'm trying not to judge myself and just be like, all right, yeah, it's a setback. Okay. I'm going to keep moving forward anyway. So, okay. Let's try to, next time this comes up, let's try to talk through it and figure it out before we make this choice that isn't putting us on the path that we want to go, or it's derailing us or detouring us rather from where we want to be. And that's it. And just trying to meet everything with, gentleness and love. And she said something to me once and broke me down. This was a year, maybe 2 years ago. I started bawling. My son is my whole world. Like I am a great father. It is something I work at every day to be better for him and be a better man. And that's part of the reason why health and fitness and therapy became the biggest things in my life, was because I wanted to be better for him. When he was born, he's 3. And when he was conceived, it was like, fuck, okay, I can't be in this horrible marriage anymore. This incredibly abusive person. I was 60 pounds overweight. I can't be that. I can't sit staring at the wall because I was so massively depressed. I couldn't even answer my phone when it would ring for work. I was doing graphic design at the time. So it's like, all of these things have to change. I need to get out of this horribly abusive relationship. Unfortunately, I was in another one after that, but it took me a long time to figure that out. And I'm still dealing with that. Like that one is not healing, the way I guess not the way I'd like it to. I mean, that's irrelevant. It's just not, that's a painful wound. That last relationship after my, divorce, but, it's like, okay, I can't be, I don't want to be fat, and I don't want to be unhealthy, and I don't want to be broke, and I don't want to be in a horrible abusive marriage. And, I need to confront my, father for how he wasn't in my life, and the amount he was in my life a lot of times wasn't particularly great, and blah, blah, blah. And my mother for the same thing. And, I need to cut out a ton of friends who are just really shitty to me and don't value me and don't see. I don't even know where I was going with this, but, oh yeah, I'm a great fucking father. So I work every day at it, and that's a big part in therapy. But one time she said to me, I was talking about my son, and then she said, and I think I was talking about how I had stopped sleeping this was a year ago or 2 years ago. I've always struggled on and off with insomnia as well. And, I said that, I had stopped sleeping and I wasn't working out, and she said, what would it feel like if you treated yourself with the same love that you treated your son with? And that fucking broke me, man. I've never even once thought of that, like loving myself, and let alone make it a active practice, an intentional practice. I've never once considered that. And to be honest, I've never really felt that from other people. A little bit here and there, but unconditional love isn't something I've ever really been around. But that's what I have for my son, and that's what he gets from me. And so she was the one who said, well, what would happen if you did that for yourself? It was crazy. It's intense. I cried so hard, because it's really painful, because you go like, okay, I want to feel that, and what would that feel like? And that is overwhelming. And then also what's hitting you at the same time is like, I haven't had that. I haven't felt that. So, you kind of mourn your childhood, mourn your life up until where you are right now. And it's this grieving process. It's fucking nasty. It's just brutal. The last few years have been brutal. It's definitely getting better, certainly stronger, making way better decisions, able to deal with all these things. And she's also helped me learn to be a fucking great father, man, to understand what he's going through and learn about child psychology and understand all of his things. I'll eventually talk a lot about that too. But yeah, that's what it's all about, is just growing and getting better. I don't know how I got on this, from Skyrim to my deepest fucking shit that I'm going through. But, that's just how it is. Do you guys play Skyrim? I like it a lot. It's pretty cool. Oh boy. All right, well, I'm going to keep this one short. It's late. I'm going to go to bed. Maybe I'll shoot that push-up video tomorrow. Yeah, maybe I will. Well, hit up my YouTube channel. I'm trying to grow that. I'm just finally, just right now, in the last few months, have started putting work into it. And so go there, Graham Baker. You can get to it all through my website, grahambaker.com, GRAHMBAKER.com. There's only one A in my name. My Instagram Baker. I'm on Twitter, @Graham Baker. Hit me up. Yeah, talk to me, and then I'll answer if you guys have questions or just want to, I don't know, talk shit or whatever. Hit me up on Twitter. That's easy. Excuse me. And yeah, hopefully I can get this podcast up tonight. That fucking iTunes thing site is down, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to get this up, but I'm gonna try. Anyway, thanks for listening. It's been great. You guys are the best. All right, peace.